Hello, welcome along to Volume 7 of the Forged Alliance Forever Community Cast Library. It's been a little while since the last episode. Unfortunately, I thought it'd be away for a couple of weeks, and a couple of weeks turned into a couple of months. However, I am back now, and I am looking to re-establish maybe weekly episodes, depending on basically when I want to do them. I only do this for the fun, guys, let's be honest. So please feel free to get those replays forthcoming once again, and I shall cast my eye. One match in today's episode, boys and girls. I really hope you enjoy it, guys. Alright, hello and welcome along to the next session of Chassis Mangling Mayhem. This episode coming in from Adaptive Hurundax Canyon. We have a 5 versus 5, we'll call this team at the top team 1, this team at the bottom team 2. Starting off with the players for Team 1 in his customary teal, and going Aeon, weighing in at 1500, it's F-Odin, aka Frodo, and may I introduce to you GB Clan's third worst air player. There we go. Second up for Team 1 in white, going UEF, opening first land, coming in at 1100, it's Medicraze. Next up for Team 1 in green, also going UEF, it's MetierNoob, who comes in at 1300 for this replay. And next up for Team 1 in yellow, going Space Pirate Seraphim, coming in at 1100, it's KofNoob. And then lastly for Team 1, another drab and dreary UEF player, opening first land, going Lilac, it's Am I the King, who weighs in at a tasty 1600 for this replay. And for Team 2, first up in pink, suit you sir, it's Live coming in at 1100, opening first air. Well, okay. Next up for Team 2, in red, going UEF, first and second land, it's John Nice weighing in at 1200. Thirdly for Team 2, in Old Man Grey, going Aeon, weighing in at 1200. I'm going to butcher your pronunciation here, sir. I apologize. I'm going to go with Adatugalva. I'm not going to say that too many times. Next up for Team 2, in blue, and finally someone's gone Master Cybran race. This guy is my winner. It's Unkinked Hook. Unkinked coming in at 1500, trudging forward, going first land. And then lastly for Team 2, in green, going UEF, opening first land, second air, weighing in at a tasty 1600, it's Blast Chilled. So Blast Chilled going second air, has third air starting just when the first one's about 2/3 done. So second and third air there from Blast Chilled. And we have early comms pushing forward from Unkinked Hook, is the most advanced for both teams. For Team 1, KofNoob, just approaching the central kind of cliff ridge plateau area. And in tow, closely behind, or not really closely, but behind Unkinked Hook is Adatugalva. And on the left hand side we have early units going forward from John Nice, T1 tanks accompanied by scouts streaming forward. We have an early scout out from F-Odin, and not too much else going on right now, as you would expect. Everyone just edging out. There are pings going down on the early streaming units from John Nice. Medicraze just getting some units to block off this passage here to stop any raiding parties coming through from John Nice. And F-Odin doing a good early job here of scouting out Team 2 on the behalf of Team 1. And now we have Adatugalva assisting the upgrade of Unkinked Hook. What did Unkinked go to? Unkinked went into a T2 upgrade. And Adatugalva now just edging forward and taking out the raiding party of Medicraze, but Adatugalva is going to have a very nasty shock shortly as he's walking headlong into 3 ACUs. He's found 2 of them and he's still going forward. And Adatugalva here only now is turning away as he goes into the yellow. A move ping's gone out from Unkinktuk. Unkinktuk is already pulling back his ACU and has cancelled his T2 upgrade as he accepts the fact that his teammate has walked into its death here. Adatugalva with a very early suicide, initially pushed by Medicraze and MetierNoob. Medicraze turning off to shoo away any potential support coming in from Unkinktuk. And MetierNoob now, all he needs to do is keep walking forward and he will get the kill of Adatugalva, assisted by the units of Medicraze. And a very calamitous early opening here for Team 2 as Adatugalva going down at 5 minutes 25 seconds, and the ACUs of KofNoob and Medicraze, just as Adatugalva goes down there, pushing in and clearing out the early expansion from Unkinktuk. Unkinktuk has withdrawn and is now getting a gun upgrade assisted by himself. And what will Team 1 do with this early advantage here? They now have a 3-on-1 situation here against Unkinktuk. F-Odin just out patrolling with some interceptors over his 3 teammates here. ACUs are exposed, so solid defensive play from F-Odin in the early game. Up on the left hand side we have John Nice for Team 2, who has looking like he's denied this top corner expansion area of 2 mexes and a hydro, so that will frustrate Team 1 ever so slightly. F-Odin now just sending a scout out over just to see what's stopping that progress, and then Team 1 also just getting a fire base thrown up here. Medicraze chucking up some T1 point defense and F-Odin contributing his own T1 point defense. F-Odin just kind of standing guard there with his ACU, and John Nice now just edging forward with his party of T1 land units there. F-Odin just getting an engineer drop down here to claim that max point. And in the middle now we have Team 1 starting to push Unkinktuk, and Unkinktuk is concentrating fire on the ACU of KofNoob. KofNoob is concentrating on the units, and KofNoob needs to be very careful here. He is in the red, he is below 1500 HP, and MetierNoob and more importantly Medicraze stepping across the line of fire. They might just save their teammate, and Medicraze chucking up a structure to prevent the forward movement of Unkink's ACU and stepping across the line of fire to absorb Unkink's right arm action. Medicraze with some excellent defensive play there, undoubtedly saving the life of his very aggressive teammate. Probably didn't realise what he was quite getting himself into there, KofNoob, but KofNoob now trudging back to safer waters and undoubtedly is scurrying around the inside of his ACU robot with a fire extinguisher. And Blast Chilled getting a gun upgrade done. John Nice has done nano repair and has started shield. Am I the King has started tactical missile launcher on his ACU here and is asking for power. So Am I the King going for a relatively early twat pack upgrade here. That will be quite frustrating. And despite the fact, in the middle, despite the fact that it's a 3-on-1 situation in the favour of Team 1, Team 2, aka Unkinktuk, is actually pushing the forward position here of Team 1, taking out a T1 point defence, and now opening up on the land factory of Medicraze, turning to take out some T1 units as they come forward. But despite the fact he's outnumbered 3-1, Unkinktuk here is being the aggressor, is trying to push Team 1 back, and John Nice rediverting some T1 land units around the base of this cliff to support his very lonely teammate currently. Unkinktuk does just need to be a little bit careful. His ACU is looking exposed, although I don't really see anything from Team 1 to take advantage of that exposure just yet. And on the left hand side, John Nice, he looks like he can't quite decide what to do with his advanced party of T1 units here. I advise he does something with them. Has he got any T1 artillery in that unit mix? He has a solitary single unit of T1 artillery, which will make this fire base from Team 1 all that much harder to break down. John Nice just breaking off 5 striker tanks here just to clear out the expansion area that Team 1 have got going in this top left hand corner belatedly. And if we just take a quick look in the early air game between F-Odin and Blastchild, it looks pretty even right now. F-Odin is at T2 air, and what's Blastchild at? Blastchild has gone T2 land, so is still at T1 air. So I would anticipate that F-Odin will have an air advantage pretty soon. F-Odin's comm, while we're on the subject, is just pushing forward and is massacring this stationary party of T1 land units from John Nice, and that is some very welcome veterancy piling up on F-Odin's ACU there, over halfway to his first level of veterancy. But back in the middle, Unkinktuk continuing to be the aggressor in this 3 versus 1 scenario. And over on the right hand side, Am I the King, having completed his twat pack, is being his namesake a little bit. Looks like he's taken out some mexes down here from Unkinktuk. That will be very frustrating to Unkinktuk, as if his job wasn't already hard enough being in a 3 versus 1 situation, but now he has a 4th player taking out his eco. Blastchild just, I'm not quite sure what Blastchild is doing right now. He's just sent some T1 bombers over the clumped up units of Am I the King, thinning out those numbers ever so slightly. T1 bombers there doing an effective job, well worth their mass investment. And Am I the King with a twat pack is not actually firing on anything right now. But back in the middle, Medicraze and Unkinktuk going toe to toe, tat a tat. Blastchild going into a T2 upgrade now. Over on the right hand side for Team 2. And for Team 1, we do have swift wins on the field now for F-Odin, and that air advantage I alluded to earlier, starting to look like it's happening. And Blastchild just has a solitary flapjack just edging forward to pepper the front lines of Am I the King's T1 units. Am I the King still not looking like he's doing too much with his tactical missile launcher on board his ACU unit. Unkinktuk in the middle, continuing to hold steadfast, looking like the immovable object for Team 2 here, doing an excellent job of keeping the trio of Medicraze, KofNoob and MetierNoob at bay. And Blastchild there, looks like he ate a TML to the face from Am I the King, and Am I the King indeed firing off another TML there. Blastchild had to cancel his T2 upgrade there, and it's a good job he did, because it looks like, if we just see where that second TML was coming in there from Am I the King, so Blastchild, in cancelling his T2 upgrade there, has saved his own skin. Unkinktuk continuing to be aggressive with his ACU. He does have stealth units around his ACU, so that's going to be quite frustrating for Team 1 just to kind of pin down where that ACU is holed up currently. We do have Mercies being produced by F-Odin here. F-Odin now at half a dozen Mercies. No prizes for guessing where they're going to be headed pretty soon. There goes the scout from F-Odin. If we just jump into F-Odin slightly, he can't actually nail down the ACU position, but he can see the suspicious looking signature there. And F-Odin there just taking damage himself on his own comm. If we just jump back into Observer and try and suss out where that's coming. That was a fair chunk off F-Odin's shields there, and I'm guessing it came from this TML being thrown up from Alive. And there's an attack ping going out on the ACU of Unkinked Hook now, and the Mercies are en route. They've spotted their target. They are heading in, and Unkinked Hook has gone into a very ill-timed upgrade here. He does have some T2 anti-air around of his ACU, but his ACU is stood just forward of the anti-air, and that will decrease the time that the anti-air has to deal with the Mercies. And in comes the final scout from F-Odin now, and surely those Mercies are going to start moving forward, and they do. And I paused just ever so slightly there because Am I the King was taking TML fire from two flapjacks there, but in come the Mercies now, and I don't think, yeah, Unkinked Hook's going to go down. 15 minutes 43 seconds, and Team 2 lose their second player. And the immovable object that was Unkinked Hook going down to a well-executed Mercy Sight from F-Odin. And on the right-hand side, Blast Shield now looking like he wants to push forward, but I don't think he's got enough to penetrate the combined stopgap of Am I the King and KofNoob. Unkinked Hook just stating that he did have anti-air and he doesn't quite understand why he died, but Adatugalva rightly pointing out that his ACU was stood in front of his anti-air, therefore not giving his anti-air enough time to deal with the Mercies. And I'm just looking over on the right hand side now, and I am surprised that both F-Odin and MetierNoob are still alive, because these 4 TML launches here from Live, well, MetierNoob should be dead. Let's just leave it at that. If we just jump into Live right now, he can see the ACU of MetierNoob, and I would be going for MetierNoob because F-Odin has shield and is much more kind of mobile and moving around. MetierNoob is stationary and just building stuff. And very poor target selection here from Live, as he's apparently trying to take out something. It looks like he's targeting T2 power from Medicraze, but Medicraze has buzzkill up, and we've got undefended. There is no TMD around the ACU here of MetierNoob or F-Odin, and a little bit naive from Live there. He should definitely have got a kill here, and Team 1 now reacting to the threat of the TML, getting some TMD up. MetierNoob completing a buzzkill. Yeah, Live is in a solid position here, but not executing the threat of his resources very well. MetierNoob just walking his ACU into half a dozen or so Tech 2 point defenses there, and he will quickly withdraw that ACU. And John Nice also withdrawing his ACU as well, his shields are now recharging quite nicely there. It looks like John Nice is suffering from power issues right now, and if we just jump into John Nice, we can see his power stalling, hence the hokey cokey on his shield levels. And all the action right now looking like it's taking place on the left hand side of the map, but if we just look here at the bottom cliff here, KofNoob pushing forward some T2 mobile missile launchers and effectively targeting a hydro of John Nice, who is already having power issues, and now turning their attention to the T2 max points of Blast Shield. Nice little aggressive use of T2 missile launchers here from KofNoob, and they will be well worth their mass investment, taking out a hydro and 3 T2 mass extractors. Back over on the left, and we have a mercy snipe on John Nice going in, and John Nice shields evaporating, and John Nice now in critical dire straits, below 3000 HP, and the units of MetierNoob instantly pushing in after the mercy attempt on John Nice, and John Nice's withdrawal now being hampered by his own mongoose, and John Nice is going to go down 1930. Team 2 losing their third player, and the calamitous start of Team 2 continues. And another nicely executed merciest attempt there from F-Odin. Frodo is doing a good job. Frodo not quite getting the kill there on John Nice, but MetierNoob managing to capitalise on the heavy lifting of his teammate, and adaptly just scurrying in and finishing off that kill. Nice teamwork there from F-Odin and MetierNoob. Should we just stick with Frodo? Frodo or F-Odin? I don't know. Some say he's GB's third worst air player. On this showing, I would disagree with such analysis. And we've got T3 land drops now starting to head out from Am I the King. The first one looking like it's a T3 mobile artillery launcher. No doubt just going to perch on the edge of this cliff here and harass the base of Blast Shield. And we're just looking like we're going into a little bit of a lull at the moment, so we are going to bump things up ever so slightly. In fact, before we do that, let's just take a quick look at the eco situation now and see what the lie of the land is. And top of the charts is Live with a mass income of 198 per tick. Second up is Am I the King with a mass income of 134, and we just see Live there jumping up to the mid 200s, obviously Reclaim related. Going back to everybody else, third up, and a distant third it is Blast Shield on a mass income of what was 97, but just jumping up to 109 now, leveling out at 100. So Live with the best eco on the game right now. But if we just take a look at Live, he is not building any land units whatsoever, and is reliant on what I would describe as cheesy tactics. I mean, I like cheese just as much as the net guy, don't get me wrong. So Live currently employing TML, defending with point defense, and we have some T2 artillery being thrown up in the top left hand corner here from Live now, and F-Odin trying to counter with his own T2 artillery, but F-Odin's T2 artillery focused on the fire base of Live here. F-Odin probably not aware just yet that Live is building T2 artillery. Indeed, the T2 artillery that Live does have up here is under the cover of stealth, and Live just turning his attention to this area of max T2 artillery and TMD of F-Odin currently. And if we just take a look over on the right hand side, we've got T3 land in the form of Percival's bearing down on the position of Blast Shield now. Blast Shield does have T3 land, but I only see a couple of spearheads out from Blast Shield in the form of T3 land, taking out max positions of KofNoob. And we see this chicken here from Live just kind of patrolling in a pretty unimportant area right now. I'd be pushing that chicken forward ASAP if I was live. So Blast Shield is currently doing a good job of doorstop, having to hold the right and the center. On the left hand side, Live is currently holding the left hand flank, albeit slightly unorthodox, as he is not employing the use of any land units whatsoever. And we just see there a couple of mercies coming over from F-Odin, taking out T2 artillery positions. So yet more effective use there of mercies from F-Odin, taking out another T2 artillery and an engineer. F-Odin will probably continue to do that, as Live doesn't look like he's going to get any anti-air up anytime soon. And we just saw that Live giving his chicken over to Blast Shield, and Blast Shield saying, I don't want it, my APM is taxed as it is right now. And to be honest, I can understand Blast Shield's position. He's currently pretty much doing everything for Team 2. If I was Blast Shield right now, I would probably be a pile of drooling flesh, rocking myself gently in a dark corner, trying to stay sane. But Blast Shield, being a 1600, taking it all in his stride, effectively using this little pocket of spearheads here just to take out from distance. Love this use of spearheads. You don't see it used too often, the spearhead. And also we've got T1 bombers going out from Blast Shield just to try and clear this area here perhaps of T1 land factories. But there's a lot of anti-air there. I say a lot. 4 units of T1 anti-air and a turret. It's enough anyway. Blast Shield starting to push up the center here, using the spearheads to soften, and then the T2 pillars to kill or mop up. I'm guessing that's what the objective is here. There's just a scout going out from Blast Shield as he takes a look at what the situation is in mid. He will understandably be feeling quite cautious right now, as he is one against many. A ping going out from Team 2 as Am I the King doing some nice T3 land drops, just dropping some Percivals off at tactical junctures of the map. We see 2 here being dropped, taking out the 3 max points of Live and the 2 Percivals at the top here. And because Live has no land units, these small drops of Percivals will be extremely effective if they get through, because Live just doesn't have anything to deal with them. And we see now 2 more max points biting the dust for Live, and the Percivals will move down unopposed for the time being. A strat bomber now from F-Odin, just polishing off another T2 artillery point, and more Percivals being dropped in the top left hand corner. And it looks like now the top left hand corner that Live did get a slightly built up area in has fallen. And we have chicken number 2 from Live almost finished. And then what else is going on for Team 1? What are Team 1 using their eco on? We've got a fat boy going up from MetierNoob. It's fairly recently started though, so a while before that is finished. Am I the King here has a considerable line of TML launchers queued up here. That could be interesting. In fact, that could be very interesting. If we just jump into Am I the King for a second, he can see the ACU of Blast Shield, and those TML are within range of the ACU of Blast Shield, and Blast Shield has no TMD. And we just saw the notification coming up there that the second chicken has completed, and Blast Chilled transfers the ownership back of the first chicken to Live, and Live now trudging forward with 2 chickens. And I'm just looking at this left hand side of the map, and it's almost as if Live's lack of land has lulled Team 1 into a false sense of security here, as they've got a pocket of 4 ACUs in this central area here, and there's not a whole lot to defend against these 2 chickens. So Live now needs to get skates on these chickens and needs to push them up the left hand flank ASAP, and they will do some considerable damage if they get up there in time. This fat boy now from Metier is just about half done. Am I the King starting his own fat boy. In terms of nuclear shenanigans, there is nothing. Oh no, we do have a nuke launcher going up from Live here in the early stages of building the structure, and TML volleys coming out from Am I the King now, looking like they're going for the ACU of Blast Chill, but Blast Chilled 3 TML isn't going to be enough to penetrate and kill Blast Chilled. And I have to say that was very poor execution from Am I the King. If he had synchronized up all of those TML launchers, Blast Chilled would now be dead. Poor execution from Am I the King. This game should be over already. And where are those chickens? Oh no, Live! Live has rediverted the chickens to come around the bottom of this this cliff edge here, and it looks like Live is moving the chickens up behind the central push of Blast Chilled. To probably the idea is to support and push with Blast Chilled, but in reality that is going to be a very expensive use of time. I honestly feel like that that's a very poor tactical error there from Live. Those chickens definitely should have been pushed up the left hand side, in my opinion. What do I know? I am shit. And the fat boys now on Team 1, one from MetierNoob, one from Am I the King, both just about completed. There goes the first fat boy completion from Am I the King, and that will now start to trudge to the center, no doubt. And Blast Chilled continuing to pepper, effectively using, it has to be said, mobile tactical missile launchers, just mopping up a few offhams here that were left unattended by KofNoob. And F-Odin now also into the early construction phases of a GC. MetierNoob's fat boy is finished and heading centrally. The 2 chickens of Live have joined up with the central push of Blast Chilled, and they are starting to push forward now. However, as I said, very expensive waste of time repositioning the chickens. It's given Team 1 the time to finish these fat boys. The fat boys now are going to be laying down some very effective long-range artillery fire on this clumping of units now, and Medicraze has also had time to build up some more Percivals. Medicraze there just a little bit slow to bring up the T2 shield to protect his Percivals, and the chickens starting to bear down on the position of Medicraze's ACU. There's an attack ping going out on Medicraze's ACU now, and Medicraze is trying to pull back but being obstructed by a T2 engineer. The first chicken's just about to go pop, but the second chicken opens up Oh, that first death cannon volley intercepted by an Offham, but the second one landing square on its target, and Medicraze now going down to the second chicken. 32 minutes and change, and Team 1 losing their first player. About time, it has to be said. Live has had more than one opportunity to take out members of Team 1 here, and finally getting something. Although it has to be said, if he'd moved those chickens up, I've said it twice now, but if he'd moved those chickens up on the left hand side as soon as they were built, I think he would have got more than one kill in that push. The time afforded to Team 1 there, certainly enabling them to get an adequate defense up, and both chickens are down, both chickens. All that reclaim. Just pause there for a second, as I wasn't sure if KofNoob had walked his ACU into the Aeon storm with a chicken, but it was actually a support commander, so that's all fine and dandy. And the fat boys now firing on scouts as they land, being sent forward by a blast shield. And if we just take a look at the air game, I'm surprised at how inactive the air game has been. Really the only offensive use of air in this match so far has been the T3 land drops employed by Am I the King. Very effective land drops, it has to be said. And to be honest, if Am I the King had got some land drops on this central area of Live's base, Live with no land, that could have been very effective. And just taking a look at Live now, 3/4 on the nuke itself for Live. So we're just going to slow things down a little bit and take a look at the tactical situation of the nuclear game here. And we have nuke defense up from KofNoob. It isn't loaded. I wonder if Live has been keeping an eye on when that was built, etc. And a second nuke defense here almost completed from Am I the King. That will not be loaded in time, obviously. So Live here with another opportunity coming up. If he's paid attention, multiple attack pings going out on bases. There's a nuke launcher that's built from Am I the King. So Am I the King here really needs to be the target of that first nuke. If he's paid attention, Live should be able to deduce that neither nuke defense on Team 1 is loaded. And this could swing the game yet in favor of Team 2. If that nuke gets through to Am I the King's base, assuming that's what he targets, that will be quite a devastating blow. But just looking back at the normal unit situation here, and Team 1 bearing down with a sizable force here. 2 fat boys, a good healthy massive Percivals, and a support commander to boot, edging forward for Team 1. And Blast Shield is not defenseless, you would have to say, but certainly looking like he is outgunned here. And there goes the nuke launch from Live, and disastrously he has not targeted the base of Am I the King. He has gone for the base of MetierNoob, and I am perplexed at the target choice of Live. Very, very poor target selection. I'm guessing that Live's seen the 2 nuke defenses, but if he had assumed that those nuke defenses were loaded, he surely must have realised that where he even targeted was covered by both nuke defenses. I'm speechless. Ladies and gentlemen, I am speechless. There's a very poor deployment of a nuke there. Live, with a fantastic advantage, squanders it, and I'm pretty sure that the 1600 rated Am I the King will not be as foolish with his nuke when it arrives. Back in the center now, we've got artillery fire raining down from Team 1 on Blast Shield. Blast Shield is retaliating with his own Fat Boy on the Fat Boy of F-Odin. Both Fat Boys have been given to F-Odin, by the way, by his teammates. And F-Odin looking like he's just doing a slightly better job of the micro here. Not sure what Am I the King is doing with his Percivals. He needs to be pushing them around and using them. And the nuke going out from Am I the King. And guess what? It's a much better target selection from Am I the King than displayed by Live, and Blast Shield has no anti-nuke, and this is going to be a devastating blow on Blast Shield. It's not going to take out his comm, but his ACU is trudging forward headlong into the mass units of Percivals and Fat Boys, and indeed his ACU now taking artillery fire from the Fat Boy. And Blast Shield taking a nuke to the face, well, his base's face. His ACU pulling back now, hiding behind this cliff edge, pulling back his Percivals. Blast Shield in all sorts of trouble now, and I'm just taking a look, pulling out ever so slightly. And we've got a lot of TML being thrown up here from Live. And if we, I'm just trying to deduce which ones are support commanders and which ones are not. KofNoob's ACU looking very KofNoob definitely going walkabout with his ACU there, just building some, and there goes the TML. TML's out from Live and making a beeline for the ACU of KofNoob, and KofNoob looking like he's going to sit still and eat this in the face. And there's a ping going out on KofNoob, but he's not going to see it soon enough, and KofNoob just started to move there, but not moving soon enough. And finally Live getting a kill. That's Live's second kill, but I'm not saying that Live has played badly, because he hasn't played badly. He's been ahead on eco all the way through this match, but naive tactical decisions by Live has, at this stage, looking like it's cost Team 2 the match. Live definitely could have won the match for his team, is what I'm trying to say, but he has failed to do so. However, things looking a little bit more even now. It's now down to a 3 versus 2. I would still give a considerable advantage to Team 1, however, just for the fact that Am I the King is pumping everything he's got into this nuke launcher, and Blast Shield has no nuke defense. And in order to turn this game around, Blast Shield is going to have to be protected from that nuke launcher. And if I was Live right now, he's got 2 nuke defenses up. He needs to be hauling ass across to Blast Shield's area and assisting, if not just outright building an anti-nuke for his teammate here, because Blast Shield is undoubtedly the best player remaining for Team 2 and the best hope of turning this match around. But Live apparently just content with defending his own positions, currently building what looks like a fire base here, getting some T3 anti-air up, T2 artillery positions, and stealth T3 shields. So Live looking like he's digging in as opposed to helping his teammate. And we have a trio of experimentals here just milling around in the middle, all of them owned by F-Odin currently, and Team 1 just really should be pushing this advantage right now.
Strategic launch detected.
And out comes another nuke from Am I the King, and unsurprisingly it's aimed at Blast Shield, and this time Blast Shield gonna lose a little bit of eco. The most prominent thing that Blast Shield looks like he's about to lose is his T3 land HQ, and this will seriously diminish Blast Shield's capability at defending himself. Blast Shield now has lost T3 land, and a nuke comes out from Live, but I'm guessing that's going to be pretty pointless at this stage. All of the nuke defenses on Team 1 are loaded. Live chucking this nuke out aimed at F-Odin, but F-Odin's anti-nuke is loaded and takes out that nuke. So yet more ineptitude of decision making from Live there. We now have a Duke going up from Am I the King. First one just started, second one is queued up. And Live is also building T3 artillery. The key difference here being that Team 1 actually have and are utilizing land units, whereas Live is sinking eco into a T3 artillery unit having no land units whatsoever. And there's a critical air battle now taking place between Live and F-Odin. F-Odin looking like he came out on top of that exchange. Live just pulling back his remaining ASF in time. Blast Shield not reacting at all in time to assist Live in that air battle. And you would say that if Team 2 combined air power, they would have air superiority over Team 1. But F-Odin with a very healthy squadron of ASF there. And although the unit count looks very numerously in the advantage of Blast Shield, a lot of them are just T1 interceptors. Team 1 now just edging forward with these Percivals of Am I the King, supported by a solitary Fat Boy and a solitary GC. Blast Shield is trying to put defenses up in the form of T2 artillery. Obviously he's lost the capability of making T3 land, therefore T2 artillery his best defense, certainly against the experimentals now bearing down upon his position. And over on the right hand side, Am I the King just pushing down with a few Percivals just to give Blast Shield something else to think about on the right hand flank. And F-Odin now pushing forward with his GC, but Blast Shield laying down artillery fire on that GC. The GC now bearing down, starting to bear down on the base of Blast Shield. Blast Shield rediverting the Percivals, edging them towards the GC. Blast Shield looking like he's making his last stand here. An attack ping goes out on the comm of Blast Shield. Blast Shield is trudging his comm towards the GC and is overcharging the GC. And I'm not sure who's going to win. Blast Shield shields go down, but Blast Shield getting off a critical overcharge, taking out that GC. Blast Shield quickly turning that comm around and running as the Percivals of Am I the King being pushed in now. And the Fat Boy up on the cliff of F-Odin going down to the Fat Boy of Blast Shield, and now the attention of Blast Shield's last defensive unit turning towards the onslaught of Percivals from Am I the King, and the combination of artillery from stationary T2 and Fat Boy thinning out the HP of these Percivals, and Blast Shield there just turning with his ACU and taking out 3 Percivals with a very nicely timed overcharge. And Blast Shield here displaying some excellent defensive qualities and some excellent micro, although it will surely be in vain. He is now deep into the red in terms of hit points, and he's fended off the land push, but look at the horizon, and F-Odin now coming in with restorers and pushing in his ASF just ahead, and F-Odin mopping up Blast Shield, I think. Live getting his ASF over to support, but it's going to be too little too late, and Blast Shield going down at 18 seconds. Blast Shield with a very, very good defensive effort, but the combined might of Team 1 just too much for him, and no support from his teammate Live whatsoever. And Blast Shield, very well played, sir. Unfortunately, just not enough to overcome, as I said, the combined power of F-Odin, MetierNoob, and Am I the King. So this game is surely over now. We're going to bump this up as we just wait for the inevitable. Live has got a decent anti-air system going up around his base, so these restorers being pushed in by F-Odin now probably won't do too much damage, and indeed do no damage whatsoever. And a satellite coming over from MetierNoob now, and it looks like we've got T3 artillery fire exchanging between Live and Am I the King. Am I the King with his first Duke built, his second Duke 2/3 completed, and a nuke being thrown out from Am I the King here. The target is this forward firebase of Live, which doesn't look like it's going to be covered by any anti-nuke whatsoever. So this firebase now will go down, and in that firebase is contained a lot of Live's anti-air defense, as well as the T2 artillery. And we just see a Tsar now coming down the middle, so the destruction of that firebase by Am I the King. A very good tactical move there, taking out the majority of Live's anti-air, and that Tsar now might have a chance at just sniping the ACU of Live. Live moving around his base, and the shields being thinned out by the satellite. We've got strat bombers coming in, targeting Live. Live below half health, and the Tsar is just going to come in and mop up, but the HP on the Tsar is evaporated. The Tsar goes down before the ACU does, but the ACU lands on the... Sorry, the Tsar lands on the ACU of Live. A quite comical ending there. Live being killed by the Tsar wreck. And that wraps up the match. So let's go ahead and take a look at the stuff. 3 kills for F-Odin, 2 kills for MetierNoob, and 2 kills for Live. I would really credit F-Odin with at least 3.5 kills, probably 4 kills, as he did the heavy lifting on the kill of John Nice, which was his second mercy snipe, which Metier just kind of mopped up on nicely. So Metier 2 kills, 1.5 kills, yeah, okay. 2 kills for Live. As I said in the commentary, Live should have had 3 or 4 kills in that game. C'est la vie. Still 2 kills, still good. Taking a look at the charts and looking at the categories, Blast Shield winning most stuff built and most stuff killed, and Eco going to Live, winning highest mass income and highest power income. In terms of player of the match, I think the best 2 players in this game were Am I the King and F-Odin. I'm going to give player of the match to F-Odin for this one. Pretty close, but F-Odin did well all the way through. Am I the King? I think he had a poorly executed TML snipe attempt at one point, so we're going to take it away from him based on that, because that's how mean I am. So Frodo winning my player of the match. Some say he's the third worst air player in the GB clan. I would perhaps agree. Guys, until next time, thank you.